Hey, this is Adam from Rand's Art Creative, and today we're going to cover how to create that really popular chevron pattern in Photoshop. So let's go ahead and get started. So right now we're going to start off, we're going to create a new file, and we're just going to simply, for screen purposes, we're going to create something that is typically a lower quality than what I'd normally create. This is just so that way we can get started here. But the chevron, so we're going to create a 5" by 5" square, and it's important to note that this is set up at 72 ppi. Normally whenever I create patterns I set them up at 300, and I'll make several versions of them at different sizes. But for the chevron pattern, there's actually a shape that is conducive to what we're going to do. So if you'll notice here, I clicked on the custom shape tool, or you can press U on your keyboard. If you press Shift U, it will cycle through. Some of you may have it set up to just be able to press U and it cycles through. I don't. So then once you have your custom shape tool selected, you'll come up here to shape. And under the standard shapes that are in there, you'll notice there's quite a few. I think I have all of them loaded, but you can see here under the options panel there's quite a few. Like I said, I have all. You can go through and choose which ones you want to open or whatever, but I'm going to choose all. Now there's already a preset kind of arrow chevron, whatever you want to call it, that's already in there. So we're going to utilize that. And so we're going to select that. We'll click off there. And for CS5 users, we want to make sure to have this shape layer selected. For CS6 and CSCC, there will be an option similar to this. I don't think it's right here. I don't remember off the top of my head. So we're simply going to shift and then click and drag, and you'll notice we have our chevron. Now I have some effects here. I didn't intend for those to be applied, so I'm going to delete them. And so there we have our shape. Now I'm going to transform it and just simply rotate it 90 degrees so that way it's pointing up. Now another thing to note here is that we can edit this. So let's say if you want a thick chevron pattern, or if you want a thin chevron pattern, whatever the case is, you can modify it. And you can do that by using the direct select tool, which is over here right above the shape tool. You can press A on your keyboard, and you can press A again, and it gives you the direct select tool. And so now you can come through here, and with the vector path chosen, or the vector mask chosen, you can click and it'll give you these toggles. And so I know for this particular one we're going to do a triple layer chevron pattern, so I am going to select this first one, and then after the first one I'm going to hold down Shift to select the other two that I want, and then I'm simply going to use my arrow key to pull that up. And so I'm going to do one nice medium thickness, and we're going to click on that one more time to get rid of those toggles. And then I'm going to free transform it. I want them to be just a little bit wider, so I'm going to go ahead and take it all the way out to the edge. No, I'm not. I'm just going to see what looks nice there. So there's that. Now we're going to create a smaller chevron. And so what we're going to do is we are going to use our select tool or move tool by pressing V on the keyboard. And then we're going to hold down Option or Alt, depending on if you're on a Mac or PC. And we're going to drag one up. And I'm going to make it, put the bottom of it about where I want it to be. And then using the same technique we used earlier with the direct select tool, I'm going to press A on my keyboard. And I'm going to click, and I'm going to select the three that I want to move, the three toggles that I want to move, and I'm going to use Shift down arrow to make it the size that I want. That's a little bit too thick, and so without Shift I'm going to hit the down arrow make it just a little bit smaller. And then I'll click on there. Well, I say that. There we go. And so that's basically what we've got going on. And I want to make one more of those, and we should be good to go there. Now I want a nice amount of white space in between each chevron pattern section. So that's something to kind of take note of also. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to use my crop tool, and I'm just going to use it unconstrained. I'm just going to clear it. In CS6 and CSCC, there is an option here. Actually, it's over here in this area where you can have, it has a little drop down, and it has constrained, unconstrained, square, and then it has a few other things. And so for this particularly, I am going to use the just use unconstrained. You'll notice my width, my height, my resolution don't have anything in them. I'm going to select an area around the chevron. I'm going to go pretty close to the side here, so that way the side of the chevron pattern extends just past the cropping area. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And it's important to note here, I'm also going to try to line this up in the center. You see the crosshair there in the center, and so it's not quite in the center, and so I'm going to just nudge it over with my arrow keys. And now I'm going to shrink it just a little bit, just like so. And then I'm going to click enter on the keyboard. So this is what we have going on so far. It's pretty simple and straight to the point. Now we're going to turn it into a pattern. So the first thing we've got to do is we've got to get rid of this background layer for my purposes. So we're going to delete the background layer, and you'll notice it has the checkerboards, and then it has these three shapes. And so we're going to highlight those three shapes. We're going to come to Edit, Define Pattern. I'm just going to call this Chevron tutorial or tut, and click OK. So now that is actually, it has actually been turned into a pattern. And to demonstrate this, we're going to open up a new file. I'm just going to do a random size here. Let's just do a Facebook cover photo. That's something I've pre-made and set as a selection, or set as a setting for myself. I'm going to go to solid color just really quickly under the new layer over here. Well, let me run you through that. You'll come right here to this little half black and half white. This gives you different layers that you can choose, different adjustment layers basically. And so you click solid color, and then you can change that to whatever color you want to. Let's just say my favorite color is blue, so we're going to make this a kind of a darker blue. So there we have that. And then we're going to go to, there's several ways of applying this. I'm going to show you the way that I use, which is go to the layer effects, make sure you're clicked on the right layer, and we're going to go to pattern overlay. And once you get to pattern overlay, you will see this is another pattern that I've made. It was for a specific purpose, don't remember what it was, but I'm going to come down here and I'm going to click on the chevron. And so you notice it has one chevron. There's a few things that are popping through over here, but I want, let's say, 3 or 4 levels of chevron going on here. So I'm going to just lower that down until I get a good amount of chevrons going here. That I think that actually looks pretty good right there. Notice here that there's a snap to origin. That means it's going to center the chevron with the image and all that kind of fun stuff. It kind of helps you along the way. And then another thing to note too, as long as you don't have this scale right here selected, so we're going to come over here and we can move this up and down by click and dragging. Or we can, if this unselects from there we go, you can use your arrow keys in CS6. CS5 can't do that. CS6 I believe you can. I thought I did that the other day at work. The other thing to take note too is, now that I'm looking at it, I don't care for that. I want to be able to see all the different chevron patterns. So we're going to take that to 40 so we can see 3 different chevrons there. Notice I clicked to snap the origin and it snapped it to the center. So we're good to go there. Another thing to take note is you can change the blending mode to different things. Multiply probably isn't going to work too good right here just because it's something dark. If we're going to change it to screen or anything in the lighten area, it's just going to disappear. But if we go here to the contrast area, look at that. You have a different shade of blue that you can use. Soft light, hard light. Oh, hard light doesn't work. But you can kind of see some differences here. And that's basically what you do. Or if you want a complete different color altogether, you can leave that on normal and hit OK. And there's your chevron pattern. Now let's say you want to change that chevron pattern. You want a completely different color, something that one of the blend modes doesn't give you. What you can do is you can come right here and on the pattern overlay icon, or where the text there, you can right click, go down to create layers, and you'll notice all the layer effects have disappeared and the pattern has come up here on its own layer. Now we can turn it on and off and we have that extra pattern. But you know, like I said earlier, we want to change those colors, and so I am going to create a solid color adjustment layer, and I'm going to change it to, let's just go green. Why not? This is probably going to be the ugliest thing ever, but here we go. And so now I am going to, by pressing Option or Alt and putting the cursor in between the 2 layers, you can create a clipping mask, and it will clip it to it. And so you can see kind of some different things you can use there to play around with. Now I want to warn you or tell you there is another way, but I kind of shy away from it. And that is going up here and going Edit. Oh, where is it at? I don't use this way very often, and it takes me a second to figure it out, to find it. But in this, somewhere there is a pattern area. Like I said, I'm just looking stupid right now because I never use this. Let's see here. Let's see if I can find it here. And probably not, so I'm going to go to help. I'm going to type in pattern. And there we go. Layer style, pattern overlay. So we're going to come here. Nope, that's not it. So maybe it was in a previous version of Photoshop that you could do this, where you would come up here and go to Edit, you would go to Fill with Pattern, and all. Well, wait, that might be it. Hey, so let's just create a new layer. Come up here up top, go to Edit, Fill. We're going to fill with Pattern. Haha, here it is. And then we have our chevron, and we'll click off of that. We'll leave everything, and that's basically what you get. And you can't do very much with it. You can't resize it very easily, so it's kind of a pain in the butt to use. So there again, that's why I use the pattern effects on the adjustment layers. I'm sorry, the layer effects, because I can resize them and it will duplicate it and it'll do all kinds of stuff for us. So I hope you found this tutorial useful. Play around with making your own chevron patterns or other patterns, and hope you have fun with it. So thanks again for joining us. This is Adam from Ran's Art Creative.